Hey everybody! We decided to do the gold rush, which started in January 1848 and went to around 1855. It started on January 24th, 1848, when James Wilson Marshall found flakes of gold in John Sutter's mill. They decided to keep this on the down low, so for the first little while, it was mainly the few Americans living in California, the Mexicans living there, and the Native Americans living there that were mining the gold. But then President Polk told the Americans and verified that there actually was gold coming from the mines in California. So then a bunch of Americans started to pick up and move across the country to California, and that's where the 49ers come in. The 49ers were men from the East Coast that basically used all of their life savings and gave up everything to move across the country to California. And they gave up everything for the chance, the very small chance, that they actually would find gold. This risking it all and picking up and moving across the country for the very small chance that they actually would find a profit was in line with the whole Western mentality.
The first groups of people who migrated and searched for gold were the native Californians, who were at the time primarily Native Americans, Mexicans, and a few American settlers. People from Southern and Central America also migrated and searched for gold, along with Pacific Islanders and the Chinese, while people on the East Coast remained vastly skeptical until President Polk ultimately confirmed that there was indeed gold in California. After President Polk confirmed that there was gold in California, the men kissed their families goodbye and traveled to California and searched for gold, even if this meant that there was a tiny prospect of wealth. This consisted with the Western mentality. While the women were alone, they were forced to take more responsibility in order to keep their families fed and households running.
People move trying to find treasure, but in reality, finding gold is very rare. $2 million worth of precious materials were mined, although many people never had luck of finding anything, if any, gold. Since so many people were on the hunt for gold, the California landscape was destroyed. Mining takes a toll on the environment. Lastly, as Americans moved in the land of California, the natives, Asians, and Mexicans were pushed out and exploited. Some of the effects of California include population increase, formations of towns, and the speed up of statehood. In California, the non-native population increased by 125 times, which led to the exploitation of natives, Chinese, and Mexicans. When more people settled in California, small mining towns were formed. One city that was formed was San Francisco, which eventually became the big city we know today. In 1849, California applied for statehood, and the gold rush made California an attractive place to live. Some of the effects on the United States include the Compromise of 1850, the creation of women's jobs, and economic growth. The Compromise of 1850 was the decision of whether slavery should be illegal to the West. It ended up that California is admitted as a free state. Also, women in America had to take over their husband's job while they were gone in California. This meant that women of this time had to take care of their children, feed them, and work hard at a job. Finally, after the gold rush, an increase in machinery shot up the economy and led to major economical growth.
The gold rush had many effects, large and small. 3 of these include increasing population in California, helping the economy, and helping California become a state. The gold rush helped increase the economy by increasing the non-native population in California by 125%. It helped the economy by making San Francisco's economy boom, which allowed it to become a big city. Lastly, it allowed California to apply and enter the United States as a state in 1849. California and the United States would not be the places we know today without the help and effects of the gold rush. The gold rush led to a large population boost in California. At first, the Americans didn't come due to their skepticism, but there were Native American, Mexican, and Chinese miners there first. Once Americans saw their success, many Americans rushed to California. This led to a population increase of, as seen in the visual, the population increased by about 2,500 people in the first 2 years. Without the gold rush, California would probably not be as highly populated as it is today. Two important people to remember are James Wilson Marshall and John Sutter. James Wilson Marshall was the man who started the entire rush. He found flakes of gold in a river near what we know today as Sacramento. Another important name to know is John Sutter. Sutter was the founder and owner of Sutter's Mill, which is where Marshall initially found the gold flakes. Without these two men, the gold rush may have never occurred and the state of California would not be what we know it as today.